Hello, Year 10 Business and Economics students. Today is Tuesday, August the 18th, and I wanted to take a few minutes to go through your learning tasks for the entire week. As you can see on your screen, we have two windows here, of course. Firstly, let's have a look at the submission rates of our tasks so far this term. All right, 12 out of 20, 8 out of 21, 11 out of 22, so on and so forth. First and foremost, shout out to those of you who have been submitting your work or have been able to submit your work. I really appreciate your effort and your hard work is certainly recognized. I do understand there are some of you, though, who have been working steadily on these learning tasks, but for whatever reason have not been able to submit them. All right, let's figure that out. Let's make sure we can upload all of our work so we can stay on top of everything. I also understand there's a couple of you who are just flat out, nah, I'm not doing any work this semester. You're better than that. Get your work done. You know who you are. I know what you can do. Let's go. With that said, let's move on to today. Today's work, which you'll complete tomorrow as well as on Thursday, okay? So today will be our only WebEx, and you have your week 6 learning tasks here, which we'll go through now. I promise you next week, well, I don't promise, I'll take that back, but I'm going to work very hard so that next week we can put the textbook away and I can introduce a pretty fun project for you all. We should be able to do that. So first things first, of course, you're going to access the learning task from Compass, and you're watching this video now before our WebEx session, which is at 11:10 today. Once you've done that, you'll see you're working through 18.3, measuring participation in the Australian economy, the unemployment rate. Again, you know, this is such an interesting thing to be looking at in such an interesting time. Now, you find a lot of the statistics and data sort of stops around about 2015, you know, which isn't uncommon in a textbook, okay? They're not necessarily up to date year by year. But nevertheless, it'll be a really good exercise for us to look at. And we're also going to take what we learn in 18.3 as well as 18.4 and use that to gauge the economy and the state of play today amid this coronavirus world. So really simply, you're just going to read through all this. You're definitely going to look at all the sources, all right? You must read through and analyze the source material too. And you're responding to questions 1 to 8, all right? A few more questions than we've usually been doing, all right? And if we zoom in here, of course, we see, as is often the case, we have the read, remember and understand. So this is very much just the read and respond type of questions. And then we have the apply and analyze, and this requires a deeper level of thinking, okay? Generally, it also requires a little bit more time to respond to these questions adequately. So we have 1 to 8. That's a significant chunk of work for you to do. Just with that as well, let's not take any shortcuts with our responses. If you know there's more to your response, or there should be more to your response, definitely do so, okay? No more shortcuts. You're sort of cheapening yourself, and you're not demonstrating your full capability by doing so. And a few of you have done that recently, so sometimes less is more, but when there's more to include in your response to answer it adequately, then definitely add that. As usual, I have a screenshot for those students who don't have the textbook, okay? You must get the textbook, though, in anticipation for our return to school. I'm providing screenshots at the moment because we're in remote learning, and it's the best way to go, but I'm not really supposed to. Oh, you'll see this on your document. Simply do as I do and delete. That's a mistake. 18.4, Australia's economic scorecard. The first two things you'll do is you'll summarize these two paragraphs here. So the first being gross domestic product, which you know is GDP from our previous work, and you'll summarize that in 2 dot points. Then we have the unemployment rate, okay, and you will summarize that in 2 dot points as well. Then once you are done with that, you're going to respond to questions 1 to 5. Definitely have a look at these sources, and this one here, source 3, I believe, or is it source 2? Source 3 is something you'll need to respond to, or you'll need that information to help you respond to learning task 3. Okay, so make sure you're looking at all the source material before as well as after responding to the questions. Once you're done with 18.4, you're going to move to this here. Now, I'll explain C in a moment, all right? It's not a lot. You don't have to do a whole lot of work, and I don't expect a whole lot of research for now. The first thing is, A, what was Australia's unemployment rate in 2019? So you'll see up here that this goes, I think, to 2015, all right? What I'd like you to do is use the internet research, or use your internet research skills to find the unemployment rate of Australia in 2019. Then I'd like you to find what is Australia's current unemployment rate. Now, current means August. All right, now I know these figures were released last week, and I know they're being updated quite frequently, given all the craziness in our world at the moment. Pardon me. It would be safe to say that the unemployment rate has skyrocketed since 2019. I'd like you to find out, and you need to school me on that. Once you're done with this, reflecting on what you've learned this semester and using your prior knowledge, briefly explain the impact this increase, so the unemployment rate increase, will have on Australia's economy. Now, again, I do not expect a whole lot of work, a whole lot of research done with this. Just getting your sort of thoughts and reflections down on paper. That's all I want for now. This is almost the precursor to a larger discussion we'll have throughout the semester. But look, that should do it for now, because I think I've rattled on for quite some time, and we do have a WebEx at 11:10 today. So before we jump on WebEx, make sure you get your learning task from our Compass page, of course. It is titled Term 3, Week 6. You are watching the video, so you should be good to go. Get your questions and comments ready. Can't wait to see you all on WebEx. And before we go, if you speak to anyone who hasn't been attending the WebEx, pester them, encourage them, get them on board, get them to join the WebEx. My room's the room, the address stays the same. They can join from any device. Let's go. See you soon.